Hi everybody, I'm Mickey Gilley. Go back to the starting of my career. I started in 1957 after I went to see my cousin Jerry Lewis do a performance there in Houston. I decided I would try to follow him into the music industry because I was doing construction work for $1.25 an hour. Saw how much money he was making in the music industry, jumped in. I made a mistake. I should have followed Reverend Swaggart because he made more money than me and Jerry Lewis put together. The only thing that happened between me and my cousin Jerry Lewis and Reverend Jimmy Swaggart is that we grew up in Fairfield, Louisiana together. We went to the same school and the same church. But as far as music was concerned, Jerry started playing when he was about 7 years old, and even though I could play piano and sing in church, it was mostly with my mom at that time. Jimmy went to Baton Rouge, became an evangelistic minister. Jerry went into the rock and roll field, and in 1957 I tried to follow him in with a song, and I bombed, of course. 17 years later, I have a #1 song with Room Full of Roses, which was cut for a B-side, and then, of course, after that, things began to turn around for me. Well, I enjoy the business end of my life. I was in business with a gentleman by the name of Sherwood Cryer when we opened Gilleys in 1971. Had I known that I'd ever have a hit record, I probably never would have went into the club business, but it turned out to be a blessing because in 1979-80 we did the film The Urban Cowboy with John Travolta, and that's what really turned things around. Later I got in a lawsuit with my business partner, and I won the right to my name back, which was Gilleys. And since that time, we've opened up a place in Vegas at Treasure Island. We have a Gilleys there. We have one in the old John Squagg's Nugget in Reno Sparks, Nevada. We have a Gilleys out there. We have 2 in Oklahoma, one in Pecola, Oklahoma at Choctaw Nations, and one in Durant, Oklahoma at Choctaw Nations, and one in Dallas. And I'm currently trying to rebuild the one in Pasadena, Texas. One of the most exciting things in my career was when they gave me a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And I think it was because at the time I was doing a lot of work with the Arthritis Foundation Telethon. And, I'd done quite a bit for them. And when I got a chance to participate in the Walk of Fame, it was quite rewarding for me. Well, actually, the thing that crossed over for me was when I started working with a guy by the name of Jim Ed Norman when we did the film The Urban Cowboy. He recorded a song called Stand By Me with a little different version of it, and it caught on. And then later I had You Don't Know Me that was quite a record for me. It crossed over a little bit. Actually, Room Full of Roses crossed over because of the sales of the recording at that time, but it was really country. I never thought about a song crossing over when we went in to make a recording. I always tried to do the best job that I could on the particular piece of material that I had to work with. And when I picked the song Bring It On Home, I sat down at the piano and went through it, and we liked what way it sounded. We recorded it same way with a song called She's Pulling Me Back Again. Room Full of Roses, I've Looked Orchid Wind Up Above, and City Lights were something that just happened at the time. And it was very rewarding because they all went #1. Well, you missed the classic song of all. The Girls All Get Pretty Close in Time.
Please do. Go for it. Don't stop me.
The Girls All Get Pretty Close in Time has become the national anthem for every honky-tonk in the world. It's a true story. But then in 1980, when I did the film with John Travolta, The Urban Cowboy, that's when it launched country music into a different stratosphere as far as I was concerned. It introduced country music to a broader audience because he came off of Saturday Night Fever, and all he was doing was a country night fever. And the Urban Cowboy Band won a Grammy for the Orange Blossom Special. Now that song is an old fiddle tune. It's been recorded by everybody and their brother, but the Urban Cowboy Band got a Grammy for that song. I think people enjoy songs that you can relate to, and country music is tunes that you can relate to. Somebody asked me about my recording career, and I'm even thinking about, I got a couple of pop songs that I'm looking at that I would like to do country, and you'll probably recognize both of them. One is by Elton John, Sorry Seems to Be the Hardest Word, and the other one is by Lionel Richie called Hello. Hello is one of my favorite songs. I went to see the Lionel Richie concert, and I heard him do that song, and I'm saying, my God, what a great country song that could be. I like the lyrics, and that's what I listen for, Yes, I'm going. I'm going to Canada, and we start in Regina at the Regina Casino in Canada, and we end up in Medicine Hat. And if anybody's interested in coming to some of the shows up there, we're doing right across the country there, 6 days. They can go to my website, Gilleys.com, or they can go to my Facebook page, Mickey Gilley's personal update page. Join me, like me, and stay with me because I'm trying to keep up with my friend Neil McCoy. Well, I've still got my theater in Branson, Missouri, which I own the theater, and I had a restaurant next door to it. And finally got smart and got out of the restaurant business because I got tired of subsidizing it. I was feeding Branson. I got out of the restaurant business. When you lose money in three of them, it's time to get out, you know. And it was a fun thing. It was in for a while, and I'm glad I got out. We had Gilleys Texas Cafe is what it was called. I got out of the restaurant business, but I still got my theater, and got a group called Six that's doing a fabulous job in my theater. They got one of the hottest tickets in Branson right now. So it's fun to be associated with a group that's hot, and they're hot. Well, the guy that I like the most in the country music field right now is Garth Brooks. And the reason why I say that is because not only is he a good performer and entertainer, but he takes a song and he makes it his own. And then when I hear other people, you know, doing a song and trying to sound like Garth, I'm thinking, now he's really got it going right direction. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things that I enjoy about the music industry. Everybody's trying to get hits, and if you have a hit record, pat them on the back and say, hey, great, it's wonderful. That's what I do too. I try to do what I call down memory lane with Mickey Gilley, and I take them from the 50s into the 90s. I tell them about the first record that I ever made. I play it for them. Now, not many acts are going to play the first song they ever recorded, you know what I mean? But let me tell you what, in 1957, my first recording of a song called Ooh Wee Baby came out. 500 copies were pressed up. 300 of them was returned to the guy that produced it on me. I mean, 200 copies got out in Houston. 50-something years later, I get an email from the Yoplait Yogurt Company in Ireland wanting to know if they can use Ooh Wee Baby in a commercial. I send them an email back, and I said, evidently you got the wrong Ooh Wee Baby. They sent me an email back, and they said, the one we have is by Mickey Gilley. How much do you want for a 30-second clip of the song? And I was smart enough to say, can you tell me what the going rate is? They used the song for 3 years in a commercial for Yoplait Yogurt. It sent me a total of $55,000 for a $200 investment. That's pretty good, don't you think? And I'll play the commercial in the show. I'm extremely happy to be in Nashville. You know, I was here in the 80s, and Nashville was a big part of my life in the 80s. I was very excited about the fact that most of my recordings was done on RCAB. That's where Elvis recorded. And I was a big Elvis fan, so to be, you know, in the same studio where Elvis had made all his big hits, you know, I'm thinking, wow. I was in awe of everything, you know. And that's where I cut The Wind Up Above, City Lights, cut The Girls Get Pretty Close in Time, Bring It On Home, and She's Pulling Me Back Again in Studio B, Nashville. So it's quite a great time for me in that studio.